I had such a lovely afternoon here.
This is Vaisel, and this is a traditional little spice shop. Look, Vaisel.
Vaisel.
I want this here. This is what is this in Turkish?
Ada tea.
Yeah. So in Greece, this is savurno.
This is extraordinary to come across mountain tea in Turkey. I remember mountain tea. I practically lived on the stuff when I lived in Greece as a goat herder, and it has a very distinctive smell. And it took me all the way back to my times roaming around on the Taygetos mountain range in Peloponnese. In Greece, this is called mountain tea. In Turkey, it's called island tea, but it's exactly the same stuff. It's quite wonderful. And it came as no great surprise when we were chatting that Vaisel was actually brought up as a goat herder. Goat herders know this tea. They pluck it out of the mountainside, boil it up, add a little sugar, and Bob's your uncle.
So these are dried organic grapes. Dried grapes. Dried grapes.
Buyurun.
And
al bir yemek gerekiyor, gerekiyor. Bir tane değil, çok yiyor. Türkler bonkerdir böyle, çok yiyeceksin böyle hocam.
I can eat all day.
My teacher. Profesör de my teacher mı deniliyor? Biraz şey oluyor.
And what about your honey?
Turkish honey. City Sivas. Gümüşhane.
Yes.
Gümüşhane efendim. City Erzincan. Efendime söyleyeyim daha ne diyelim? City Kayseri, çekirdek.
Kayseri.
Çekirdek. Bu çiğ faydalı böyle insana C vitamini var. Bu da şalgam. City Osmaniye. Evet işte Adana daha doğrusu Adana. Acılı. Acı neydi lan İngilizce? Ha? Ben unuttum neyse.
Umut, you have to help us.
Evet dur. Bir dakika hocam daha bitmedi.
These are the
Dut.
What are they?
City Malatya.
Yes, absolutely.
Malatya, Erzincan, efendime söyleyeyim, Elazığ, Tunceli yani öyle bölgesel. Buyurun. Çok güzel. Buraya ye bol. Ye.
Çok güzel. Teşekkür ederim.
Rica ederim. Zaten natetol. Ondan sonra ne tanıyacağım? Zeytun.
Yes.
City Bursa.
I'm not going to have one.
Çok harika. Beautiful. Efendime söyleyeyim daha ne bileyim. İşte bak bunlar bu biberler var. Efendime söyleyeyim bakın böyle farklı şeyler var böyle çok değişik böyle. Bak mesela çok faydalı bu. Diyor ki imam diyor ki
wonderful.
Neydi ismini unuttuk dur. Bizim tıp doktorunun adı neydi?
You have such a wonderful
İbn Sina. Ölüm ağrı.
Emporium.
İbn Sina. Bunlar ne diyor? İbn Sina ne diyor?
Which you put on
İbn Sina'nın İngilizcesi var ya, filmi de var. Neydi?
I have no idea what.
İbn Sina'nın İngilizcesi neydi ya? Sina. Tıp doktor. Doctor.
So this is hot stuff. This is the stuff you put on everything. I know that.
Hepsi organik. Hep organik. Fıtri. Yani biz fıtri, Avrupalılar organik.
Okay.
Anladım. Efendim başka ne var ki ya?
Tamam.
Bunlar zaten bu. Bu. Keçi boynuzu ne diyor? Keçi boynuzu özü. Keçi boynuzunun pekmezi. Kansızlıklara iyi geliyor. Kansızlık, kan eksikliği oluyor insanlarda kan.
Yes, so this is the original, which you call goat's horn, and this is the concentrated liquid, and this is very good for cancer and for men's problems. Yes, I think.
Thank you. İşte bak bu da ne biliyor musun bak? Bekle. Bu çam ağacı var ya, çam ağacı. Çam ağacı kozalak. Kozalak nefes darlıcı.
Really?
Çok harika. Böyle yap.
Vaisel seems to have an entire emporium full of organic medicine that would have been efficacious in defeating the COVID pandemic, I would hugely recommend anybody to go and see Vasil, because he's the most fascinating and engaging and lively character that I think I've met in the last few weeks, and he gave me such a nice cup of coffee as well.
Oregano oil.
This would be this is part of a beauty regime, ladies' face oil, I suppose. You can smear it all over your face, and then afterwards you can eat it.
Ya. Okay. Gerçi sen de güzel. Çok beautiful, güzel. Güzel. Yani güzel, nurlu. Biz nurlu diyoruz. Yani kalp güzel, beautiful. Kalp beautiful. Coffee, tea, su, water glass.
This is cinnamon, I think.
Yes. Bak. Bu şekeri düzenliyor. Şeker, sugar, yukarı, sugar,
Yes,
aşağı.
exactly. So very good for diabetes.
Evet, okeyliyor. Ortada
So
tutuyor.
we can sort
Evet,
out diabetes, COVID.
Evet.
And-
Organik. Şu da şey.
What is this?
Dur. Defne yaprağı, defne.
Oh,
Evet, define.
He said this
defne
is
yaprağı.
something to be used in fish and meat
balık
dishes,
pişti, yanılmıyorsam.
and
Fish,
is full of vitamin
yemeklerde
E.
kullanılıyor, harika. E vitamini var bunlarda.
And Vasil seems to know exactly what things to push in my direction. He started off by talking about almonds, which I love. I love almonds. And then he moves down and he picks up these little, incredibly strong almond type things. Well, they weren't really almonds. They were seeds from the apricot, and so essentially cyanide. I think he was giving me cyanide. He's saying you should only have about 6 of these a day, otherwise you'll be dead. But they are so unbelievably tasty, so strong. I'm sort of self-poisoning myself.
Very strong.
Vasil suggests this is very good for cancer, which would be very useful, as I'm recovering from that anyway. But the more of this poison that I consume, it's very tasty. It makes me feel like Mithridates, who trained himself by eating a little poison every day, so that when he was eventually surrounded by the Romans and Pompey defeated him in Pontus, he wanted to commit suicide. He tried by poisoning himself, and it didn't work. So he then had to get one of his bodyguards and his friends, Bituitus, to kill him. And it was a rather bloody, rather unpleasant death, I think, according to Appium.
Beautiful.
This is sun-dried. This is the original. And these are both organic from Malatia. And these are very anti-carcinogenic. These will help defeat cancer, which is something we want. Something want to
Feridin var. Feridin kan yapıyor.
Yes,
Kan.
absolutely.
Yes, kan yapıyor. Feridini güçlü. Artı bağırsak var ya, bağırsakları çalıştırıyor böyle hızlı.
Right.
Fit.
Yes.
Mesela fit. Bunu yiyince one day
Yes.
44 göbek aşağı.
Very useful. Very useful.
Fit, evet, fit.
Right.
Böyle ha.
So more efficacious
Yes,
than dates.
evet.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we went outside, and he gave me the most delicious dried fig, which he decorated with a walnut from Aden, and this is a place which is again famous for its produce, slightly indirect sunlight, and the
Beautiful energy.
the most lovely service, the most delightful produce.
We need big energy.
Big energy, big. Tomatoes.
Here are some indirect sun-dried tomatoes from Ufa,
Tomatoes.
and
City Ufa.
well, there we are.
City
Have
Osman.
you ever seen monkey nuts that are quite so golden, bright, and fresh? I've never seen fresh monkey nuts before, actually, I must confess.
C vitamini. Müthiş C vitamini. Yüksek.
And
Evet,
this
soğuk
is
algınlığı var ya.
effectively the rose hips and rose hip tea, very good for cold and
Good, very
flu.
good. City Gümüşhane. City Gümüşhane.
And this is
Ihlamur.
stuff which is really good for cold and flu. It's not surprising all this stuff is kept outside. This is from the linden tree, which, of course, if you remember the linden tree song, I didn't realise that was of value, but it's like going to the pharmacy. And then he shows me some sun-dried apricots, followed by some sun-dried apples. Actually, they are wonderful to munch as you're walking down the street. If you haven't tried them, you can actually get these in quite a number of shops. But here's the original. Here's the stuff from straight off the farms, straight into the bags and straight into Veysel's emporium. And here we've got a string of quite expensive stuff from Konya city, baby okra, which turns into rather wonderful soup, bamya kolbasi. Okra. There you are.
Bamya. City Amasya Taşova. Tabii. Bak organik, %100 organik.
Here he's showing me a vinegar infused with alich berries. I'm not sure what alich berries are. I think it's hawthorn.
Hawthorn.
Ya evet
Hawthorn.
hocam.
It's a hawthorn.
Yes.
Prickly bushes. Ow!